All right, it's going to be that time again. Training camp has started for a number of NFL teams, and specifically the Los Angeles Rams, the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams. Obviously, this is an exciting time for all of us who are fans of this game as the season gets closer and closer. But the Rams, like a lot of other teams, have a lot of interesting competitions going on during training camp at some key position groups. Mice, I know you have the stories about one specific competition, but before we get into that, Rams fans, obviously you're coming off a historic season. So speaking of Rams history, comment below, who is your favorite Los Angeles or St. Louis Ram of all time? Let us know who your favorite Ram is in the comments. But Mice, what's the latest out of LA?
All right, Nick, before we start, let's have a small round of applause because actual football news is back and it's something to be celebrated. So there's training camp, there's actual meaningful work going on, and a meaningful battle that's going on is in the Rams wide receiver room. Now, don't get me wrong, obviously the Rams' first wide receiver one slot is easily taken for by Super Bowl MVP, Triple Crown winner Cooper Kupp. Who else would you want to be there? But when you go down the rest of the depth chart, the rest of the slots for the Rams are kind of in limbo. Because of some of the acquisitions the Rams have made this offseason, there's a lot of options. I'd say the top three options we're working with right now would be Van Jefferson, Allen Robinson, and Tutu Atwell. There's a couple of other guys that were on the team last year, but I think these are the three main guys to kind of fill out the rest of the roster. And all of them seem capable. So it's going to be good to watch through training camp in this battle to see kind of who solidifies themselves as that number two guy. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, so this is, one of the best parts about training camp is you get to see which players are going to kind of emerge and take on key roles. And the Rams obviously are going to have to rely a lot on other wide receivers not named Cooper Kupp. And here's why. So the Rams use what's called 11 personnel, which means they have one running back, one tight end, and three wide receivers on the field, far more than anybody in the NFL. They use it 84% of the time. They're well above league average. We got a chart showing just how big that disparity is. What does that mean? It means they rely a lot more on multiple wide receivers, not just, some teams focus on having two wide receiver groups. The Rams focus a lot on three wide receivers more than any other team, so they need a lot of production out of that position group. And this is a group last season. Granted, they won the Super Bowl, it worked out, but they relied so much on Cooper Kupp last season. And we've got the stats right here. You look at last season, Cooper Kupp obviously had an all-time kind of season if you look at his numbers and catches, yards, and touchdowns. But when you compare what Kupp did and combine it with what Robert Woods produced, what Van Jefferson produced, what Odell Beckham produced, and what Skoranek produced last season, who played a minor role in that team as a wide receiver as well. Kupp produced more than all of them combined. Now, granted, that's how special Kupp is, right? He's obviously looks like an all-time great player. But going forward, that's just not sustainable. You need more production out of your number two and number three wide receivers. And that's why this position battle is going to be so critical for LA this season.
Yeah, and I think the crucial part here is obviously, OBJ was more of like a later season contributor. He kind of shined big in some of the playoffs, but everyone else there was I'd say a mesh of them throughout the whole season. Obviously, Van Jefferson got the most yardage. I believe he got like over 800 yards in the regular season. Everyone else was kind of here there, but now they've added a couple of new guys. Obviously, Tutu Atwell is a name to watch. But Allen Robinson, he was a guy who's had a pretty great start to his career. He's always been pretty good overall. Even over the Bears, he was a great receiver. So this is a guy who on some teams, and even maybe on the Bears at this point in time now, would be like a number one wide receiver who's fighting for that number two slot. So I think that's a strong guy. Obviously, Van Jefferson has some chemistry with Stafford, chemistry with the team. So Jefferson is a good option as that number two guy. But I think with this blend of a couple higher caliber receivers coming over to the Rams, it can take some of this weight off of Kupp's shoulders. I see him really shining more and having a longer career if he has like more around like the 1,500, 1,600 yards a year that just getting almost 2,000 yards, 145 receptions as a receiver, it's going to wear on the body. That's almost like, when running backs are getting like 400 touches a season, you're almost taking like an entire season off the end of your career when you work a guy like that. And you want to keep Kupp around for as long as possible. So I like the addition of some of these guys, and I'm interested to see who wins out in training camp.
Yeah, it's a great point about Kupp and taking some heat off of him. But I think a lot of teams are really just going to force the issue and just trying to, you sometimes use two bodies, double cover him, eliminate Cooper Kupp, or at least try to contain him. And I really like Allen Robinson, because one of the things we've noticed with the Rams lately is they take players that kind of everyone thought they were past their prime or maybe weren't very good from bad teams. Obviously, Matthew Stafford's a great example. But, Odell Beckham came on strong last season after his career looked done in Cleveland. Von Miller, yeah, absolutely. And then you look at Allen Robinson, who was good in Jacksonville, but no one really kind of paid attention to him because it's the Jaguars. He was pretty good with the Bears, but obviously with the Matt Nagy disaster, people kind of forgot about him. I'm really excited to see what he can do in this offense with Stafford and Kupp in that group, and see if the Rams can, kind of bring the best out of another guy who's been kind of forgotten.
All right, Nick, it's time to get your internet privacy back today on every device you own in any country you want. Don't let anyone but you control your internet. NordVPN keeps you safe from prying eyes wherever you go online with their military-grade encryption. Is your favorite Netflix or streaming content blocked in the US? You can simply connect to one of the many countries available with NordVPN and get the access you need.
That's right, Maya. So right now, get our exclusive NordVPN deal here at nordvpn.com/SMI. It's risk-free now with NordVPN's 30-day money-back guarantee. Again, get that exclusive deal, nordvpn.com/SMI.